I'm live. Welcome. I think I'm live. Should be live. Why is there not? There we are. We're live. And I'm going to pop this up so I can chat with you guys as well. Zephan should be in here. Zephan got the alert. He's probably going to be around soon. Let's go back. I was doing some scans. We're going to do strategy tester run. Oof, that's ugly. That is ugly. Let's look at Lockheed Martin. LMT. Let me make sure I've got. Yeah, you can see the screen there. Good morning, everybody. I don't know if anybody's on. Somebody's here. Say hi. There's two people watching. Me and someone else. Is that you, Zephan? Say hi. I'll come back to it. I'm just doing some scans. Interesting. I want to move this up here so that I have access to it. We got job data's coming out. Let's see. Zephan's there. I knew it was you. Let's see. I've been doing. There is my. And there are my notes. Okay. Zephan, I'm starting the podcast now. Oh, let me turn on this. Gotta look good, man. Gotta look good to feel good. That's what I always say. Well, I say that sometimes. Okay. Good morning. It's Thursday, September 15th. It's Jobs Day. Not monthly Jobs Day, but weekly Jobs Day. We should see something. We got good news in the market, but the market is not 100% responding. Let me look at the futures real quick on the app. The market, we were up in the futures when I woke up at about 5 this morning, but we are down and slowly making that trod down again. So I don't know where we're going to wind up, but there was an interesting quote that I heard from Warren Buffett yesterday. Warren Buffett says, Wall Street's the only place in America where there's a big sale and people run for the exits. I think that abides by for your Apples, your Googles, your Amazons. I saw a lot of debate yesterday on CNBC whether or not big tech will lead us into the next bump up. Well, sorry, but that's what moves the markets is big tech. I think energy, I continue to say, the title of yesterday's podcast was Buy Energy. Well, buy energy. And it's clear energy is going to still have an upside. I think it's only 3% of the market. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple over the last 11 years. Look at September, but look at October. Second best month of the year. Obviously July was fantastic for Apple, but seasonality wise, let's go look at GOOG. Because I keep telling you guys, I don't care if you buy it at 105. I don't care if you buy it at 100. The MACD is still crossing down. It got you out yesterday. Like I told you, I do not think that we've reached a bottom. I think we go down further. But am I trying to time stuff? No. Most of you guys probably have regular jobs where you need to do stuff. So I don't know that I'd necessarily try and time it. Natural gas, I talked with Max yesterday. Natural gas boomed up. Oil was a crazy. Look at that gap up. Look at that. We have a 93. We're trading at 100. You got your 10%. I still think there's 120 left in this one. I don't count on me again. That 93 should be kind of the guidance as to where you buy. If you lose 5% on it, or for some reason it starts to just trash down, get out. But yesterday's 93.50 was clear. It went all the way up to 100. We saw a lot of the fertilizer stocks. Mosaic continued its kind of sideways move at 56. 56 was the buy, but you're trading at 53 right now. Again, natural gas is used to make some of these. There was Comstock. I think it was Comstock shot up. Comstock. CRK. CRK was the one that just kind of, look at that. 19 moved all the way to 21. It's a big percentage move. That was up yesterday. I'll bring this up too. Usually what I've been doing for the past couple of days, again, I haven't been live on YouTube all that long. It's been, I think, just a week now that I've been doing it regularly on live on YouTube. But I stayed on and did some live trading with folks yesterday and showed them some stuff. There were some folks in there asking me some questions, and Zephan, who's a regular, who's actually watching me on YouTube right now, had a great suggestion. I mean, he had heard SCHD, and this is an ETF that just is a Schwab dividend equity. The algorithm got you out yesterday, and I kind of told Zephan, hey, I think between 71 and 70 historically is probably a decent buy-in on this one, because if you look, we'll take a look at a daily. Look at this. This goes all the way back to 2021. Let's look at a weekly. We'll go back even further. You've clearly been setting up a shelf here. And when I was pulling this, let's pull this back a little. When I was pulling the volume back here. So this is all the way back at August 17th. Look at the volume shelf that's clear. This is 2015, the volume shelf. Again, you don't really want that. But let's pull it back to COVID and see where most people are holding. Most people have gotten rid of SCHD. They probably traded around dividends, I would think. It's a dividend equity fund. It produced a solid, let's see, I'm going to pull it up here because I pulled it up yesterday. 3.25% dividend is what it pays. Year to date, you're down 11%. But let's go to SPY. SPY, you're down 17%. So SCHD in this time, you've outperformed the S&P while you've gotten a 3% dividend. Now, energy is obviously a better sector. Let's just look at CVX, for example. You're getting a 3% dividend and you're up 40%. But SCHD, if you're looking for a long term, just look at this. This is a weekly chart, and you pull it back here. It's got a clear volume shelf up here. It doesn't have a bottom. It's nowhere near the 200-day, but the only time it was near the 200-day was during financial crisis, and it pulled back. I think you could start to see that right now, but I think anywhere between 69 and 70 on this one. I think for a long-term play, a lot of people have asked me about a long-term play, and Zephan came up with this one yesterday. I like it. I like what I saw in all the charts. And let's talk about something to, going back to the Buffett the quote about, hey, you're running for the exits. Well, Snowflake, take a look at Snowflake. This was interesting to me. I own Snowflake at 183. I haven't gotten rid of it. I probably could have made a lot of money on it. Trading in and out of this one. The algorithm loses you 14%. Buying and holding loses you 13% on this asset. It's 30 positions, 13 wins, 17 losses. Your average win is 10%. Now, I bought in at 183 way back, I think, God, I want to say way back here in May. I don't know exactly when I bought it, but I did buy at 183. It was probably around earnings. Was it this earnings? May have been this earnings, August 25th. I don't know. I forget when I bought it. But Snowflake's one, you know what? It was probably around this earnings, March. Who knows? But I think 183 sticks in my mind for some reason. But I think maybe I just have an average purchase price of 183. But I definitely purchased it around earnings, went up by 20%, didn't sell. You've got this gap up here between 246 and 259. At some point, we're going to fill that. But what I wanted to point out was Tuesday. Look at this, how well this one held up. And part of the reason this one held up is because people are so long-term focused and long-term positive about this company. The valuation makes no sense right now. None whatsoever. But look at that volume shelf that it's creating. We'll pull this back to where that gap was created. We'll pull this volume shelf here to see where most people who have bought between now and then are holding. This is the earnings where it pulled the gap March 2nd. Yeah, you've got a floor here about 147. So people are holding on. This one to me, with that big 5% downturn where it didn't go down 5%, turns out to be a pretty good indication that this is fairly strong. If you can get it, I think if you can get it between 180 and 190, I think you do that. I don't think that you buy it today. 197 is a bit high with pending jobs, numbers, export prices. They're just kind of going over some of the news. It just hit. Looks like the futures are, for the Dow are up, NASDAQ still down. But I do think that you can get this between 180 and 190. And for those that are younger, throw this in a long-term portfolio. This could be the next Apple. It is crazy to think about buying a company with a forward PE of 455. That's down 41%. But what you're trying to do is look at 2008, 2018. Look at Apple during these periods. I'll show you. We'll go back to a weekly on Apple. And if we go back to some of the financial crisis, 2008, I may have to go monthly. Yeah, I got to go monthly. You'll see these were opportunities. Look, it's a slight downturn. It doesn't look that drastic. But what you see is that the company continue to go. I think this is what you're going to see with Snowflake. I think you're going to see this dip right now into the below 200s, and you're going to see it continue to climb like this. They have too strong a product, too strong a business setup where they're going to continue to make money. They're going to expand their business. I think that's where you see. And when I saw it hold up over the drop down, I said to myself, this is probably a pretty good opportunity. Another one that held up well and is crazy valuation. This one's a little different because it's been a runner. But Tesla, you didn't see this huge run down. Now, I know I've said, hey, it's got to cover this gap between 250 and 255. I don't know that it necessarily will cover that gap. You've got some Elon Musk news. He believes in Cathie Woods. Cathie Woods came out last night and said, hey, the Fed has to stop raising. There are some fairly big names in the economic community who have said that. I believe that they just don't want their fortunes kind of halved. I think, again, the only tool that the Fed has right now to fight inflation is the Fed rate. If they go too fast, they could send us into a recession. It probably would be a fast recession. We're already in a recession, 2 quarters of downward trend. I don't care who however you define it, we're still in a recession right now because we're still downward. But that gap on Tesla, I don't know that it necessarily gets filled. I think the 200-day around 265 is more of a, hey, that's a buy. So I don't want you to buy it over 300. I don't think that it's worthy to buy it over 300. The difference between Snowflake and Tesla is the second Elon Musk steps away from Tesla and moves to SpaceX, Tesla will essentially just crash. I think he's the one that drives this thing. I think you'll see it absolutely probably down 25%. You think Snowflake's 455 is crazy? Let's look at Tesla. Tesla's making money. They were higher, by the way. You could have bought this in 2018 and Tesla was higher on the valuation. But again, you don't look at this the same way. Let's look at Ford. I think Ford is a good example. I think GM's a good example. They had their electric day at the car show in Detroit yesterday. Look at the forward PE, 7 on Ford. Look at GM. The forward PE is 6. These charts on Ford, I think it's a hype trade. I would absolutely trade Ford. Look at how it's kind of capitulating here between a certain amount, about $14 and $16. If you can trade within that range, you're doing pretty well. You have this gap down here at about 13. I don't know that we're coming down there. Again, you're kind of holding above this 200-day. Let's look at it daily just so we can see it. See, it's under the 200-day on daily. You're using the 200-day as a resistance level. It's clear. It's going up to 16. It's dipping down to the 50-day here at 14. Will it break the 200-day? Those Bollinger Bands are syncing up. We could see either a big move down or a big move up. Look at this. The Bollinger Band synced up here at 11. You went all the way to 16. Bollinger Bands here sync up. You went down. Bollinger Bands sync up. You went down. Bollinger Bands sync up. You went up. They expanded, but boy, did they come down quickly there. That was January. And make no mistake, that 200-day is still in a negative move. So you've still got a negative stock. But you have a gap here between 18 and 19. I don't think it's crazy to think that Ford comes out, gets their chips and their manufacturing in line, and goes back to fill that gap at 18. I don't think it's crazy. You can hold on to it for a little while. I think the Electrify of America is clear that that's exactly where America's going, and GM and Ford will probably lead it. Again, Tesla's the obvious winner here. You look at GM. GM, on the other hand, they're just crossed their 200-day. They've kind of been capitulating here. I think this is a $50 stock. Look at that. I mean, that gain. July 13th, you buy in. By September, you've made 20% on a stock that I don't know that you necessarily mind holding. At these levels, I don't think you mind holding this one. You look at a weekly, and you can clearly see GM has for many, many years just kind of hung out here between the 30 and 40 range. If you get it below 40, I don't think you mind holding it. But that's one. GitLab, GTLB. There were an analyst on yesterday who talked about there were four stocks in cloud that he particularly liked. Snowflake, GitLab was one. And I saw this move. I think, I think you're going to start to see this MACD move down. That RSI is in no man's land, but I'm kind of adding this one on. He kind of convinced me yesterday that GitLab might be something that I want to look into. So I added it to my watch list. CrowdStrike, I particularly own CrowdStrike. I think CrowdStrike's a great one. I own this one at 183. I think, Snowflake and CrowdStrike were about the same at 183. I could have obviously traded this one for quite a bit of money anytime in this run, but I'm holding on to this one. I like this one. The Bollinger Bands are way up. It's trading at 184. I don't think I've made any money on this one. But the other one, Zscaler. Zscaler is a cybersecurity firm. They just announced earnings and they shot way up. This was a 20% move on this one when they made 25%, 150 to 180. They are one of the largest. Palo Alto Networks, which had their split the other day, was the big one. Nucor, NUE, is a iron ore. What are they? Let's see. I think it's iron ore. Is it to do steel? Manufactures and sells steel products. Yeah. This is kind of like Cleveland Cliffs. Nucor announced yesterday they did a profit warning, down 10%. So it was interesting yesterday. This one was brought down to 20. See that gap there between 117 and 118? My guess is that's exactly where you're going. Any reaction of the market is an overreaction. This is part of the commodity space, and it's part of Cleveland Cliffs. You'll see Cleveland Cliffs down yesterday, got out of it again at 15. I think you could buy this one absolutely once it covers this gap here at 14.94. Anything under 15, buy Cleveland Cliffs all day long. If we're going into a recession, that's the problem, is the commodities will continue to go down. DRV is one that I had an alert on, and I posted on Twitter, and I posted on Instagram yesterday. We had a cross up here at 46.85. You're selling at 46.92 right now. That's where it crossed up. Let's see if we have DRV. This is a triple levered short on the real estate market. And let's look at a 2-day. We'll look at a 5-minute chart. And I'm looking at Active Trader Pro right now. It's trading at $47. And 46.92 was the cross up. You're trading at $47. Again, this is a bet that the real estate market will go down. 3-time levered ETF. It's been good to us in the past. The most recent was a 20% gain, 13% gain, but you could have gotten out with the 20%. I think this one makes higher highs. You look at this one, it made a higher high. It's going up. I think we take the next leg up. Am I putting money into this one? Probably not. I think that, again, I'm a swing trader. I like this one. You get hurt in a big way if for some reason Zelensky, I've talked about it, China comes back online. Well, all of a sudden the real estate market picks up. But I do think that you should bet that the real estate market, everybody that I talked to, I lunched with my real estate agent the other day. He said, it's crap. Market is crap. So there's some things. Talking about energy, XLE, TrendSpider posted a chart yesterday on Twitter. Let's go to Twitter and I'll look at my profile to see what they posted, and we can look at the chart right here. XLE, there we go. So here is a chart of XLE. Ascending triangle. Could look like it's off to the races. It could, again, that ascending triangle, it looks pretty damn good. We could continue to move up. Look at the volume shelf right there at about 75. You're only at 82. So I like this one. Again, if you don't want to pick a winner, XLE, you had a buy-in at 82.09. You're not far off at 82.26. Let's bring this volume shelf back here so that we can look at it. Oh, I hate that it needs to be perfect. The volume shelves on XLE, there is one forming 77. You're at 82 right now. Could, again, that RSI is high at 58, kind of in no man's land, but I like it. Zip Trader, HKD, I think that, Amtd Financial. This is one that went nuts, and it went nuts earlier as well. Charlie went over this in his video. If you want to see it, look at it. This is probably meme trading stock. It was a 400% gain yesterday, something of that nature. Look at 8/2/22. This went up to $2,500 per share, and that's no typo. It was at $2,500 per share. Let me see if I can. Let's look at it daily. Yeah. See this run? Look at, I mean, it's a new listing. July 22, it's trading at 19. July 27th, it's trading at about 48. July 28th, it's trading at 51. You get up here and look at that. It got all the way to 25 right up here. Look at this right here. If I hold it on this candle, your open was 930, your high was 25.55. And that's in one day. During that period, it's up 80% because you only closed at 1679. It is crazy. It went nuts. Yesterday, it started trading at 140. It started trading at 60. It ran all the way up to 287. Right now, it's trading at 189. 240 is the bid and ask. It closed at 189. Charlie says this as well, and his listeners are significantly riskier probably than myself, but my listeners are probably risky as well. I wouldn't put any money into this. I wouldn't count on it going up. Great video, great insight into Charlie. There's nothing here. This is simply probably a whale that is looking to market manipulate kind of stuff. But it was great video last night. Again, look up on YouTube, Zip Trader Charlie. He puts out a video every night, and he goes over stuff like this. He does have a service. I don't particularly recommend the service. It's $400 for you to learn. But the biggest benefit is to get into his morning chats. It's a bunch of degenerates in the chats. They all kind of hang on Charlie. He probably puts out 10 to 15 stocks, and maybe one's a winner, maybe. He's been playing in different sectors since I've kind of listened to him, but yeah, great video last night. Mara, when we're talking about Ethereum, completed their split, which allows them to significantly reduce the amount of electricity that it takes to complete a transaction, the amount of energy that take to complete a transaction. You had remember I talk about button hooks? This one had a quick button hook here in September 12th. It went all the way up to 15. You're down at 12 right now. Your buy-in was 1122. You can clearly see, let me expand this so you can clearly see it. See that blue line coming down? It's going to cross that strike line. So the MACD is heading towards getting you out of this trade. It's not quite getting you out. Probably will get you out. Depends on what this one does. ETHE, which I personally own at a significant loss, by the way. ETHE, had you buy in at 1122, you're at 1167. This was priced in. So the news is not a shock. It was priced in. Humira Healthcare, they're having an investor day, and they came out with upward guidance. And you can see it's hugely down here, but in pre-market, it is hugely up. They had HUM is the symbol, 458, and they're up at 485 right now. We talk about I talk about any reaction is an overreaction. Look at that. It came down here. I don't know why. Let's see. Was there a news story? Had to be a news story. Let's look on FinViz. Ties up. Humana versus United Health. What's the better buy? Ooh, that's probably a good article right there on Zacks. Zacks doesn't put out the greatest research though. Investors will be pleased. Humana introduces midterm adjusted. Humana outpaces stock market gains. What you need to know. The chart again. I think this chart just shows Humana had some type of issue. I don't know. It's completely oversold at 27. If you can get this at 485, I think you're right in this wheelhouse. I don't think it has too much upside since it's already run up. But I wanted to bring that up because United Health, UNH, is a favorite. And it did get you out yesterday. The RSI is at 33. I've kind of talked about anything down here between 505 and 511, I think anything under 100, I think you could actually buy a portion of this. It's down at 518. It closed yesterday at 509. I think 505 is probably the bottom here. And you can see yesterday's low was 506. It hasn't completely touched it, so maybe we have more downside. But this is completely oversold right now. The MACD is crossing down. It got you out yesterday. The RSI is at 33. So if I were to look at this one, look at United Health versus Humana. Look at that Zacks article. Go on to FinViz and read that. I'm not going to look at it for you. Biggest news of the morning is that there's a potential resolution to the rail strike, which would have put this country in a major bind had you gone more than a couple of days. It's engineers. It has nothing to do with anybody off the railroads. It's basically people who are actually on the railroads, and it's a smaller union, but it would have significantly put this country, probably Christmas at risk, probably the rest of the year. We talk about, Joe Terranova always talks about how midterm election cycle years are always up, or the majority of time they're up. I think over the last, 60 years, 80 years, there's only been one midterm cycle that was down. Well, we're probably in the second one. But Union Pacific, CSX, and Norfolk Southern, all up. CSX named a new president, the former Ford Motor Company exec, Joe Hendricks. I don't know. I saw the guy on CNBC. Ford hasn't exactly been a shining example of great leadership, but it is what it is. Wynn got an upgrade to outperform, WYNN. It is up in pre-market. This is tied to Macau in China. And with China reopening, you could probably get into this one. I would say anywhere between 58 and 60. I think you can get into this one and be completely happy. Look at how even this is. And if you go back, look at how it's kind of created that shelf there. Let's go and look at a daily where it's traded here between 55, probably, the lows of 50 and the highs of 70. It's in that range. And you're right, it's 60. You're in that range. Now, if you're going to invest in this one, I think you listen to the algorithm, and I'll take a look at that. But I wanted to show you the key point is this is still a downward trending stock. So if you're going to bet on this one, win, it's football season, probably something up. But the algorithm loses you 12%. Buying and holding the stock loses you 23%. The average win on this is 11%. I like this one. The algorithm has you in at 59, but it does look like recent downturn is going to make that MACD cross down. So I think if you can get this at 59 or 58, it might go down to 55, but I do think that you have a time where you can hold this one and go up. But Win is tied to Macau. So for if some reason tied into China, if they continue lockdowns, that's going to be a problem. Report yesterday, mRNA, Moderna. You bought in at 134 on this one. I know it went over. The algorithm never got you out, but it has been floundering down here. There's a complete volume shelf here between 134 and 144. So I think you're safe buying anywhere in between there. The report yesterday was that the Chinese government has started to talk to Moderna about supplying them with their vaccine. That would be enormous, not only for the world in getting mRNA vaccine into China to get them a little bit more immune, because it's been shown their vaccine just isn't effective against the new variants. mRNA is better. Less people are dying. We don't know how many actual people are dying in China, but they've been releasing stats of 1-2 people, and then they shut down a city of 8 to 10 million people. So I think mRNA, I think you've got one last pop in here before the end of the year, probably up to 170 or so. I do think that 130, this could be a long-term play as well. And the reason I say it's a long-term play is their technology of mRNA vaccines. Right now, they just have the COVID vaccine. If they get into flu, which they're working on, if they get into something else where they can actually create a vaccine that's mRNA, and if you read up on mRNA vaccines, they're significantly safer than the protein vaccines that we've been using for years. They're significantly more effective. Now, we don't know the long-term health effects of them, but the people that have researched long-term effects on mRNA have said they're completely safe. It does interact with your DNA. Your immune system is bolstered up. So when it recognizes the DNA of a virus that enters you, your immune system can start to attack it sooner, which makes your cold less aggressive, and you get less sick for a shorter period of time. So again, mRNA, right now, Moderna just has COVID. They've been effective selling it. I think at the beginning of the year, you're going to lose a lot of COVID funding around the world. And I think you're going to get fewer and fewer purchases of their vaccine, which means downside. But if they open up China, that's the biggest market in the world. So going along with Win, if you're going to bet on Win because you think Macau's going to open, I think you better put half your Win lot into Moderna as well. Netflix is being upgraded by, Evercore. And they upgraded saying that things haven't been priced into the stock. Well, the algorithm has you out as of yesterday. I think it's up slightly in pre-market. The RSI is at 46. Look at this one. I mean, it's been a dead horse ever since you kind of had this run up from July to August where you got 20% in this stock. It's just been a horse that's kind of run here between 215 and 240. I think at 224, you could probably buy it safely. I'm a big fan of Netflix. Still have my Netflix subscription. I've talked to several people who have disconnected their Netflix, and Netflix wants them back at $9 a month. So maybe that's if you want to. One of my other skills at this retired life is living cheaply, and it's about finding the deals like that. I did want to bring up Patagonia, the founder, and they're a private company, $3 billion company. He gave away the company yesterday. Essentially, this is the giving pledge, but in a different form, and he got a lot of press about it. I'm an outdoors guy. I buy a lot of Patagonia stuff. It is quite pricey, but it is quality gear. They give back, I think, 1 or 2% of their profits to fighting climate change. Well, yesterday, he basically gave the company away and signed it away to, quote unquote, Earth. And that was the big press release. That was the headline. What he did was basically, hey, we're never taking this company public. We are going to keep it private, and what we're going to do is give away 100% of the profits to fighting climate change. So he no longer takes the profits; they're kind of giving it away. So it's the giving pledge in a different kind of form. I like it. If you like the outdoors, support Patagonia. Adobe is down big because they announced that they are opening or purchasing a design firm called Figma. I've never heard of them, but they're down big. They also announced their earnings. They were supposed to announce it today after, but they announced pre. And so it's going to gap down. Let's see where we are. ADBE. It's going to gap down here and create. You're down at 330. So you're look at this. This is a falling knife. Now, do I suggest you buy Adobe? I'm not a big Adobe fan. Adobe, I think, has some great products. I think it's been overhyped. This is a subscription service company that went from buying products to just subscription service. It is significantly expensive. Look at that PE, 23. PE is 36. Their forward PE is 23. They don't pay a dividend. Year to date, they're only down 34%. So it hasn't been as big a drop as most of the other names that you saw that ran up during the pandemic. And I'm going to show you this run up because it is very, very clear. Look at that. So you got, here's March, here's the pandemic right here. You were trading at 284. There is no reason that this one ran up all the way to 600. I think it's back to its rate, kind of probably where it should be. I would think 300 would put in a floor on this one. The algorithm loses you 19%. Buying and holding loses you 20%. So the algorithm does nothing. The average win is 8%. I think my guess is this moves back down to 300. You're going to have a gap. You're going to have this MACD cross down. You're going to have that RSI go into oversold territory. I think you could play this one once it comes back. So those are all the stocks that I had. As far as scans, I wanted to show you a perfect example of how the algorithm is not always perfect. AEO is a great example. You got out here at 10:55. You got in on September 13th. On September 14th, the next day, you get out with a 0.66% gain. Again, you take your profits in this environment, but it got you out too soon because there's another MACD cross up today at 1079. Do I think you should buy this at 1079? Probably not. I saw the MACD cross up and I'm like, listen, this is going to flounder around 10. I own this, a small portion, a small position in it. I think it's like $4,000 or $5,000. It's not much, but I'm down like 50%. I bought it because, again, I listened to a guy on the internet named Jim Cramer who said they have cotton prices under control. They have cotton prices. They have a contract and they will not suffer from the supply chain. That was in January. And you can see at 21, that was right around this earnings. It was March. Right around this earnings at about 20. And I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to this guy. Boom, 50% loss. Roasted. To quote Michael Scott, boom, roasted. Yeah. I think it's going to hover here around 10 when we go to AEO and we look at the PE of 10. You look at GAP's PE, GPS is the symbol. They're at 13. I mean, look at Abercrombie, which is similar to American Eagle Outfitters, PE of 10. Again, there's nothing special about this one. It's just kind of come in on the valuation. But it did have a cross up, so I figured I brought it up. Another one that I own that had a cross up is Oxy. I would absolutely tell you to buy this one. 67.22. I told you anything under 70, buy it. You've got a cross up here. There's no reason not to buy this one. Warren Buffett's still buying it. Energy's going to go up. Yeah, it's down 1.477 today. It's based on demand in China. But we go back to Moderna. If they get the Moderna vaccine in China, demand's going to go back up for oil and gas. Right now, the recession fear is what's bringing this one down. Demand's going to go up. The Saudis want oil to go back to $120 a barrel. I just don't think that there's any way this one doesn't go up. DRV we talked about as far as the scans go, 46.85. I think you'll be able to get this one probably around that price. I think you're going to see, again, my take on this is we're going to see a flat market between now and next week when the Fed raises. An interesting one that I am not familiar with this industry at all, but it's the defense industry, Raytheon, 86.41. And the reason I bring this one up, they're having some problems. Raytheon is. Lockheed has been a solid mover, but is Raytheon hit a bottom here? 86.41. It just seems when I looked at the daily. Why did I go to the weekly? I should go to the daily first. When I looked at the daily, it's under the 200-day. We just had the death cross. Now, it's got the MACD cross up on the 4-hour, and it's oversold here. It is clearly in a downward moving spiral. Their earnings are coming up October 25th. Usually on their earnings, you can see the past two earnings, they've been down. Prior to that, they were up on earnings. They probably have some downward guidance. Who knows exactly? Maybe there's supply chain issues. I haven't done my research, but you can see that Bollinger Band is super wide. It is now piercing the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Where did it pierce the bottom of the Bollinger Band? Right here at 87. Ran up to 95. Right here at 82. Ran up to 92. So when I see this Bollinger Band get pierced, I kind of take an interest in this one because I do think that it bounces back rather quickly. And Raytheon has a pretty good dividend, 2.55. So you're kind of flat on the year. If we look at Lockheed, by the way, you're only 9% off your 52-week low. You're 20% off your 52-week high. But if we look at Lockheed, LMT is the symbol. Sorry, should have. 14 and 24 is the PE. You look at Raytheon, excuse me, RTX, and they are 28 and 15. So it's not crazy to think that this one has some movement in it. The algorithm, it makes you 9%. Buying and holding makes you 38%. Your average win's only 7%. But I bring it up because it did cross up, and I think it's oversold. I think it's an opportunity. If you want to scalp it, I think you could. Okay, I think that's it for today. Let me go back to YouTube and see if anyone, just Zephan, has a good morning. If anybody else is on YouTube, I'm going to hang out on YouTube while I post the podcast. So thank you again to the supporters. I put in my link tree. I'm kind of getting sick of the fees that are taken out. And I did notice too that Anchor, I certainly appreciate the monthly supporters on Anchor. And the fees, I don't mind paying the fees for the monthly. And really, honestly, you guys are great. But I did have, I think Max yesterday had asked me about, let me see. Max had a stock yesterday. I told him it was going to bounce at 3. Let's look at which one that was. I'm going to go in here. But Max had asked me, hey, he wanted to get me a one-time thing. So I put in my link tree a way to give me one time. And it says personal in the link tree if you want to support me there. GERN. Yeah. Remember how I said yesterday? Yesterday it hit 306. I said it's going to use that $3 as resistance. Boom, you're at 286. Boom, roasted. Yeah, it definitely used that. It's going back up a little today. It's got the 10-day volume. Let's see, GERN. Let's look at this one. This is not a. He found this one and he bought it down here at 120s. Kudos to Max. Max, just brilliant freaking trade. I had seen that it went up over the Bollinger Bands there. We talked about that. And I just saw a pullback. I thought it was going to, pull back. It's just oversold, overbought, I mean. But clear. And I hung out yesterday and kind of on YouTube and kind of talked with some folks. So I'll do the same thing today. So you guys on YouTube that are watching now, just hang out. We'll do some live trading. And if you have any questions, I will probably be driving tomorrow to New Jersey. Again, I think this week is going to be flat. Fridays, I'm going to try and do something where it's more of an educational show every week because I don't like you guys buying anything on a Friday unless it's buy and hold. If you're looking to trade stuff, just don't on a Friday. There's too many things that can happen over a weekend. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Thank you again to the supporters. Look for that link tree. I may do some Twitch stuff. I know I signed up for Twitch and I was doing live on Twitch. But I may do some Twitch stuff. Live trading on Twitch. If you like it, hit me up. Okay. Take care, guys. Have a great day. Okay. We will share export song to disk. Okay. And that's that. So let's go back to YouTube. AMD. Okay, I'll do it, Isaiah. AMD. Let's look at AMD. I own AMD. Full disclosure. I'm going to put this in front of me again because I think this is the way you guys hear me. AMD. Ooh, look at that. AMD algorithm got you out. It's a downward trending stock. The chip manufacturers are having huge problems. You can clearly see that MACD is crossing down. The RSI is at 33. It is completely oversold. I was hoping for a bounce. You see this buy-in at 78 here and the sale for 20% up here at around 96, 97. If I pull this, I'm going to pull this back to where it gapped because these gaps at some point probably will get filled. There's no volume shelf down here. You're seeing kind of support. So where it goes from here, I don't know. Market's not open yet, so the new candle hasn't created, but it clearly has a MACD cross down here for a sale. 7% loss from 84 down to 77. The algorithm loses you 6%. Buying and holding makes you 2%. Your average win, though, is 11%. 30 positions, 9 wins, 21 losses. So your average loss is about 5%. So you have quite a few losses. But if you can get one of those wins, it's a good one. I think when I look at this, the last few times, I shouldn't say the last few times. The last time it got down to this level, Isaiah, and again, I hope I'm saying your name right. I think that's what it is. And I hope I'm doing it right. But you can see 78 down here where it's trading right now. Got you a 20% move. Let's look at AMD on here. FinViz. 46% down year to date. Your PE is at 32. Forward PE at 15. You don't have a dividend. You are only 8% off your 52-week low. You're 52% off your 52-week high. So you look at the trend line. It's clearly a downward trending stock. So I don't know how low this one can go. The PE and the forward PE are rather high. We talk about it. I talk about it in previous podcasts where maybe you weren't listening back then. But Qualcomm is my favorite because they do have a 2% dividend. Look at that PE at 11.3 versus AMD, which has a 32 PE. Now, AMD has better technology in their chips than Qualcomm does. But Qualcomm has 5G, and they're going to sign a new contract with Apple. I think Qualcomm here down at 127. My guess is you're probably out on this one as well. Let's look at Qualcomm. Yeah, it got you in at 130. It's going to get you out. That MACD is going to cross down. It's kind of trading a little flat, though. Yeah, I don't think it's going to go down. I think Qualcomm here at 127, like I said, you're putting in your floor. Qualcomm is 7% off its 52-week low, 34% off its 52-week high. It's down 30%. Again, while you're waiting for this one to go back up, you're getting paid 2%. So that's why I like Qualcomm over AMD. Now, I own AMD at a significantly higher price. I think it's like $213. NVIDIA, you can see it's clearly still overvalued. You're only 1% above your 52-week low. But clearly you can see all of these chips are in a downward momentum. Chip ETF, can I do that? No, I guess not. Semiconductor, SOX. These are, see how the semiconductor bear and bull, SOX S, SOX L. SOX S is probably the one, yeah. This is the one that's probably going up. These are triple levered ETFs, and you can clearly see here at 35 you bought in. You kind of floundered and went down. You went way up here to 42, and then you went down. But the algorithm didn't get you out. Didn't get you out here on this button hook either. It's kept you in. SOX S, it's the short. SOX L probably is down. Let's see. You're in at 1345 on this one. God, that's tempting to buy. Just thinking that these chips can't go down any further. But are we? God, I think the futures are down. Yeah, futures are down. Kanye West, the big headline is now Kanye West. Yeezy is terminating its deal with Gap over alleged contract violations. That's a hype grab right there, probably, for him, not for Gap. So yeah, I like AMD. I personally own it. I'd probably steer you more towards Qualcomm. And the only reason I steer you towards Qualcomm, Isaiah, is because, and enjoy class, I'd steer you towards Qualcomm because I don't know what these chip manufacturers are going to do. I don't know where chips are going. That SOX L and SOX S, that kind of scares me a little bit. In the short, actually looks like it's stronger than the long because that's where the trend has been going. If you were to buy Qualcomm, at least you've got a 2% dividend to go along with it, and you've got news of an Apple contract potentially coming up. And I think those two things help you out. So, any other questions from you guys? I'm going to do my upload this stuff. You guys can see episodes, new episode. We'll put this right there. Insert ad. We're going to look for clue because I don't know if you guys know, but I put the same damn transition after the ad. Just so it's something consistent. Okay. I got that uploading. By the way, I've got gig service through AT&T. That may be why my Zephan, here's the problem. And I share my kind of personal life with you guys, my personal portfolio. And Zephan asked if I'm buying anything long term. I don't know that I'm putting anything long term into play this week. And the reason is, what's the Fed going to do next week? And long term, am I upset if the Fed decides to only go a quarter point or even no points and there's a 10% rally? No, because long term, I think you've got a significant move up. That's personally me. Now, on the other side of my personal issue, I was told last night that there's a potential that I need hundreds of thousands of dollars in liquidity to help a family member. And so I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in liquidity. And so I probably will have, and if that's the case and I do need that, I will have a significant tax event that will happen with sales of stocks. And I won't sell Apple. I will not sell Apple. I think anything below 180 on Apple within the next 2 months is crazy. You're crazy to sell it in the next 2 months. I think this iPhone 14 is crazy good. I think the hype that I've seen on YouTube and Instagram about how the dynamic notch, the dynamic window, I don't know what it's called. I think that's a great one. But personally, Zephan, I think you're in your 20s if I'm not mistaken. I would be buying, say for instance, you want to put, I think we talked about it yesterday, Google. You want to put $10,000 or, even $1,000 into Google. I think at your age, I was doing like $400 or $500 lots. If it's $1,000 just to make it easy, and I'm doing $1,000 trade on Google. Let's look at Google because I think the algorithm got you out. What I'm doing is, the algorithm got you out, which means there might be more downside. The algorithm doesn't know catalysts. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but the algorithm does know, hey, moving average wise and algorithmic trading wise, we can see that there's just no buyers showing up. And you can see the volume from this week. Just look at the volume kind of trend down. When you see that volume trend down, this is kind of opposite because it was right around earnings and you just had big earnings plays right here. But look at the volume when it trends down. Typically, you're going down. Now you're going up when the volume goes up. But I think Google is one of those that their earnings are coming up October 25th. I think at $100, between 100 and 105, I think you get into that one. And I think you see the ad market not necessarily in a recession from Google in October. So, you take your Meta. Meta is an interesting one because, again, I talked about My First Millions podcast. Those guys kind of turned me into a Zuckerberg fan. But it got you out yesterday. It's completely oversold. Look at the RSI down at 33. Now look at the seasonality. And we'll go back to, this is 2012. I think that was the Facebook IPO. But look at the end of the year. It's a horrible, horrible end of the year. If we look at Apple or let's just go to Google and we look at the end of the year here, it's a good end of the year seasonally. And that goes back to 2011, 11 years. Let's look at Apple through the end of the year. Let's look at the seasonality of Apple. It's a pretty good end of the year to me. 75% in October. After a horrible month in this, your best month is July for Apple. And then you get into a pretty bad January, but a great March. That's 11 years again. We can even go back further than 11 years on Apple. I think, we can go all the way back. Let's go back to 1981. Yeah. See? January is actually a pretty good month. So you move that back there. But if I were you guys, I'd be taking the opportunity. I do think, you're 18. I do think there's an opportunity for you to get some stuff. I mentor an 18-year-old who made a ton of money over the past 2 years, and his father, I think when I started mentoring him, he was 18 or 19, made a ton of money. His father's a high school gym teacher, traded momentum stocks, and made a lot of money. Decided to drop out of college, so I told him, I said, get back in college and worry about your trading later. I hope he's doing well. I need to touch base with him again. But, let me create this episode. Any other questions from you guys? There's 4 people watching. And hit the thumbs up if you would. That helps. Like and subscribe. I'm learning about that. I think I got some additional views. What are we going to title this? Okay. Zephan, you listened. What should I title the episode? I'm going to post my notes in there, and then I'll come back and look at what your suggestion on the title of the episode should be. I want to put in there, let's see, save changes. I'm going to throw that in there. I don't think the title of the episode necessarily has a lot to do with things, but tell me what you think the title. You listened. Come on, Zephan, be quick. Yeah, think about it. This is what you should be learning in school, man. Are you in college, Zephan? You better be in freaking college. I'm not a dad. I'm just an Uncle Gary to all my kids' friends. And when they ask me, should we go to college, I tell them you go to as cheap a college as you can, depending on what you want to study. What I think the episode should be, you know what? I didn't go over Boyle and LNG. I should have gone over those. Energy. I think energy should still be the play. Let me see. DRV. Maybe I should say buy this triple levered, entice people to listen. Buy DRV to make money. Or maybe propose Wall Street's on sale. That's awesome, Zephan. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Just to give you background on me, I had a great question on Instagram yesterday. I think it was from Corey. Who asked me this question? Let me see. I'll just go into Instagram and look because I want to give the person they were looking at my stories. Jeremy asked me, "How old were you when you say you became successful?" And my guidance to him was, I still don't feel successful. um, I am instilled, and I think a lot of people in my situation are instilled with the thought that you never have enough, and for safety purposes. And I know I'm successful from an outside looking in standpoint. I would say there were probably three. Let me see what I wrote to him. Three milestones in my life. The first was when I hit 100K in net worth. That was a while ago. It was a huge, big deal because I remember I felt rich as fuck. 100K in net worth. The next was when I got 100K in salary per year. I never made it further than that in salary. And part of the reason was I wanted to focus on retirement, and I wanted to get retired as fast as I could. I knew personally that working for someone else was never going to lead me to financial independence and retiring early. So I focused on stock trading and understanding stocks and building my portfolio and getting in and out during times when there were opportunities, 2008, 2019, 2000, all of those years where I did big buying, COVID, big buying. I did huge rebalancing during COVID and moved into stocks that were just beaten down. So I think that was the second one. And the third one was when I reached 1 million in net worth. And that was where I thought, when I reached 2 million in net worth, it wasn't that big of a deal. When I reached 3 million in net worth, it wasn't that big of a deal. But when the 1 million was a huge deal because it makes you feel more comfortable. It definitely helps in that respect. But yeah. Something about being patient. Nah, come on, nobody listens to patience in a title. Let's call it. Stocks that held up and should be bought now, because I like that. Market update. Stocks to buy now. That's even better. And I'll put now in caps. 9/15/22. Snow held up. Tesla held up. LNG is back up. Snow, GitLab, Crowd, CS, Nucor, look at CLF, TrendSpider, DRV, we're going to say DRV again. I didn't look at Target and Walmart. I'm going to leave those in there because I do like those. I didn't go over half my notes. And Tom wanted me to go over EOG and ESTE. I'll just tell Tom I did it on YouTube. HKD, that's a huge one. Mara, Humana, UNP, CSX. It was funny because I was actually talking to a friend. He's going to start a podcast about elections. ADBE. And I was talking to him yesterday about starting a podcast, and I think he's going to do it. You guys might know his name if you're into politics, and he's a friend. So I am going to publish that now. I'm going to take this. Let's see. I want to. Okay, Zephin. I'm stopping this one, man. I'm not going to do any live trading. Let's see. This GERN. Oh, it's down. Maxman, I hope you got out of this one. I hope you listened to me and got out at 3. I think I texted you early email to get out at 3 yesterday. Max is a supporter, so he has free access to me. If he emails me in the middle of the day and I have an opportunity, I'll hit him up. I've been going for an hour and 10 minutes now. I'm going to stop this one. I'm going to post that podcast. Do a little bit more. I got to get my day started, man. I'm driving tomorrow. No podcast tomorrow again. So I'll see you guys next week. Zephan, have a great weekend, man. Thanks again for hanging out with me. You make it worthwhile being on YouTube. And Isaiah, I hope you get kind of that, all of that on AMD. I still like Qualcomm, man. Let's look at Qualcomm. Live. It's down 0.78. It's got no support levels there. Yeah, you're down. I mean, you're down on the market. Like I said yesterday, slightly up. I think today you'll be slightly down. I think tomorrow. There's just no buyers showing up in this market. Nobody's showing up to buy. Everybody's waiting for next week. What's BEAT? Heartbeat. Ooh, look at that one. $1.25. It's got confirmation. Ooh, remember we talked about a triple bar? This one's creating a triple bar right now. Okay, we're going to put in an order. I think 218. We could have gotten an order in at 218. Is that going to be a good one? BEAT at 218. The triple bar is not huge, and that's the problem. It doesn't have the support level to get outside of there. Let's move it down to a 1 minute. See? So when you go to 1 minute, see that Bollinger Band sink down there? It had to move up or down. It's outside the Bollinger Bands right now. But look, 218, guys, scalp this one. Up 5% now. What is it? Up 5%. Yeah, it's still going. This is the momentum trade. I wouldn't be selling right now. You got momentum here at 218, 223 is building a floor right there. See that? See that bar moving up there in the 1 minute chart? You still got confirmation right here. It's gone all the way up to 234. There's no reason to sell until it comes back within the Bollinger Bands. On this 1 minute chart. Look at the 5 minute chart when we go to 5 minute. The 5 minute chart, remember that one was red? It's now green. I'm not going to live trade it. Zephan, did you just hear me, man? I have hundreds of thousands of dollars of liquidity that I need to get. I can't live trade something. I should live trade it, though. Let me see. Okay. And what I'm going to do, if I live trade, I'm going to live trade it on the using. You have to use your tools that you have. And what I do typically is on Fidelity, they have a fantastic app. And see, it's losing its steam now. It's got that 220. It's down. I would have lost money on it. Would have made some money, but just went up too far, too fast. Let's go back to the 1 minute. That's going to show it tanking. Yep. See? Remember how I said sell it when it gets within the Bollinger Band? Now it's coming back down to this 9 day. That green's a 9 day. It's coming back down there. If it hits that 9 day, loses its support. Yep. See, lost support. Well, we're probably going back down to 2. But at 2, if you get under this VWAP of 206, I think you bounce it back up. But using the technology, like I said, I posted the podcast. I just got to do other stuff. I should show you guys this picture. I just got texted about. Yeah, see now, you touch that 9-day, it used that as support. And that 9 days right at 217. So if I had a 218 trade in, I'd be perfectly happy right now. Thanks for laughing at me, Zephan. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, think about it. So on this one, it's a $2 stock. So I always talk about 10% being kind of the way you want to make, on a trade. That's always been my target. Wow, the VIX is going up, by the way. But it's a $2 stock. So every 2 cents is 1%. 20 cents is 10%. So if you go from 218 to 238, boom, you've got your 10%. So you don't have to move that much. And it is using that 9-day as support level. Now, the problem that I see is, see that VWAP kind of come down to 207? Oh, I got to sneeze. Excuse me. But that pink line, the VWAP, going down below that 20-day, that's a little troublesome. And see, it broke that 9-day. And at this point, it's holding hope. Or you get out. See, Zephan, you would have lost me money, man. I don't like day trading like this. Whew, man, and it lost. Did the market lose? No, the market didn't lose. You've got last trade size. Let me see. Where's the options? I bet people are trading this in options. Let's link it to Gray Tools. I guess there's no options in this one. They're just trading the stock. It's up 67% today. People are taking their profits here. Trading orders. I want to do level 2. I forget how to do that. There's a way to look at it. I don't think it's the orders window. No, that's how orders for me. Quotes and watch list. I have a quote window up. Options research. I want to say it's. I forget how to do that. Look at the level 2 data. You can see all the size. Look at that. 2,000 shares sold. Selling pressure. See, now it's coming down to that VWAP at 207. It's using that as support level right there. I think you're easily going down to this $2 range. Yeah, I'm not live trading this. I don't live trade this stuff. I don't live trade a lot of stuff. What I'll typically do is you look at the like SQQQ. This one probably has support for today. Let's look at a 1-minute chart here. We'll zoom in a little bit. Yeah, see it lost. SQQQ lost its support there. Let's go to a 5-minute. I'm going to zoom in here. See, it's still inside the Bollinger Bands, but they've got to tighten up here. So you're kind of right here at this 46.33 level. The VWAP is at 46.51. So it's going to want to come up here, which means, again, SQQ is a bear. It's downward trending. You're rooting for the market to go down. And the volumes are huge on this one, by the way. God, look at Tesla. Tesla just keeps going up. And your AMD is way down. Chips are just down. Chips are just a bad investment right now. Snap is up at 11. Adobe trending down to that 300 mark where I told you. It just opened up and has no support whatsoever. XLE is down. God, buy this one on its dip. I'm telling you, man. Look, there's no support level in XLE whatsoever. Market's kind of flat, but oil's just probably trending down because everybody thinks we're going into a recession. Let's see you, VIXY. I'll look at it for you. See the VIX down here? Here on my Active Trader Pro, I have the VIX right here. It's down 0.27. UVIXY is down at, remember I like UVIXY under 10. It's at 1034. That VIX, the problem is the selling that you saw, even let's look at a 5-day or a 10-day. Look at a 10-day here. See the VIX go from 9.10 to 10? That was what, Monday? Or that was Tuesday. That was with the big downturn. The VIX was actually up significantly more. I think the VIX is probably coming under 10 again at some point in time. You're down 1%. The VIX is only down 0.27%. People are selling UVIXY. They're selling it. And look at the 10-day volume. 73 million. 90-day volume, 64. 52-week low was just hit at 871. Again, anything under 10, I think you buy and hold the VIX, UVIXY under 10. Anything over 10, sell it. Yeah, Snap is one that's funny. Snap is an interesting one. Here, let's look at Snap. I'll look at Snap for you. I held Snap, I think at 30, 35. I sold it about 40. This was a while ago. But look at Snap. I mean, Snap's interesting. They are not making money. And then when they come out with all of their warnings, that's where you really get into problems. But it's interesting here. I wish I had two monitors, but I only have one monitor. Pull this back. Oh, no, that's about right. March 31st. See that volume shelf? Right there at 1046. That's where it wants to live. Look at those Bollinger Bands. They synced up at 11. It went up to 12. Well, where did it go? Yeah, 13 almost. It synced up. Snap's an interesting one because they announced this move up from 9 to there was because they did announce they saw an increase in advertising, which is why this morning I said, hey, buy your Google for the earnings in October. Because I do think, I'm going to put down Friday. Maybe I'll talk while I'm on the road tomorrow. A little bit. Yeah, the problem is I think you're looking at not necessarily a $50 stock like it was. I think you're looking at a $20 stock in healthy times. Because let's look at the valuation. Snap. 37 forward PE. They're down 75% year to date. They're 22% off their 52-week low. 86% off the 52-week high. I think that $83 mark was just out of control high. I think it's a $20 stock in a healthy social media market. It's my guess. Okay, guys. I got, 4 people watching? There's only 4 of you. Hit hit the like and subscribe. But it's probably the same 4 that always watch me. I'm going to get going. Uvixi, Zephin, Uvixi's one. Again, wait for it to come under 10, I would say. And because it's a decaying asset and it takes so much out in fees, I don't think that you hold on to it for long. You have a stop loss of 5%. I think then, when you're under 10, you have a stop loss of 5%. Move that down, and continue to buy it as it goes down. But take that 5% loss and then buy it on confirmation when it confirms again. I think that's what I would do is to try and make sure that you're disciplined in taking your losses when you can, because your losses should write off your gains. Meaning you should win more than you lose. You're just taking a lot of trades. And when I was scalping and doing that sort, I talked about rebalancing during COVID. What I did during COVID, and I made a ton of mistakes. In March of 2020, I wound up buying UCO. And let's go back to, look at a weekly. UCO. And Zephin, you better have a long-term portfolio, man. At 18, I was focused on long-term. I'll show you what I did in UCO. So essentially, it was March of 2020, around here. I'd say around here. And it was trading at essentially an equivalent value of about 14. And I looked at the charts and I said, look at that RSI. It was super low. And even if you looked at it daily during this time, it was just super low. And you can see, look at that volume spike up. And people just started trading the hell out of this thing. And it was good. And I made money in the short term, but then I held on to it. And as I held on to it, it just kept losing money. Now, I sold it around this time. I lost $100,000. I said, there's no way we're getting back to where we were, because I think it was around this time where I bought it. And I should have known from a weekly, look at how it filled that gap. And now it's back down at about 31. I think you're going to move back up to this 200-day, and that's 52. That's long-term. Remember, there was a 4-for-1 stock split earlier in May of this year. But when I talk about rebalancing, I basically took my losses here because I rebalanced into Apple, ARK funds, Tesla, and I rebalanced into all of the things that were significantly down. Oh my God, look at the ARK funds. Did we just turn around? Something happened in the market. Look at the ARK funds. They're up 2%, 3%. DraftKings is up 4%. Oxy's still down 2%. Your Energy's going down. Palantir's up 2%. Shopify's up 2%. And Exxon's down 2%. Buy energy on weakness. I'm telling you, when it gets weak, man. What is it? Matt Damon says future favors the brave. But essentially what I did was I took my losses in UCO, and it was significant. It was, $100,000 in losses, somewhere in that neighborhood. I took my losses, wrote it off against gains. I learned oil like nobody's business, and I didn't hold it. And the reason I didn't hold it is because this move from 3 to 31, I didn't expect it. I didn't expect energy to become this kind of big. I didn't expect UCO to actually make that kind of money, but I do think UCO will probably be back up here. Now, UCO is a decaying asset, so you probably shouldn't hold on to it. I have friends who are still holding it. They bought it here at about 3, 6. I think, yeah, quite a few people who bought it around there. So, okay, good boy. You're like my kids, Effin. I just have 2 dogs. Okay, I'm going to shower, get my day going. I run, just so you guys know, I run 3 to 5 miles a day. Try and stay trim, try and stay active. So hit me up if you guys have any questions. I will not be doing a podcast tomorrow. So take care. Have a great weekend. I know I said that before.